Awesome. Now we're live. So, Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. I just finished with all of my classes like about an hour ago. Well, until at least Monday, but all of the hard stuff is over, at least until next Wednesday when I have another test. But that's a little bit less difficult of an approach for me because I have a little bit more confidence in my ancient Greek than I did in my data structures this coming test. But yeah, I feel like that was a lot of information.
Yeah. Okay. Ancient Greek. How do you're saying? So you're saying that ancient Greek is going to be a somewhat easy test. I don't even. How do you? How do you learn something like that?
Uh, a lot of it is self-teaching yourself because what you kind of got to do is extensively go over the book, continuously practice. If you've ever taken Spanish, because that's the only comparison that I have right now to it, it's the only other language that I've ever tried to learn. But if you've ever taken Spanish, they do have a lot of different ways to conjugate certain words, and there are several more different conjugations when learning ancient Greek that you have to learn also and memorize, and they all have their different meanings and backgrounds and their own, how do I put this, little tweaks about them.
Mhm.
I'm not the best person to actually be explaining this, and I don't think a lot of people are qualified to explain it because one, it is a dead language, and two, not a lot of people are as well versed in the language as you would want them to be, especially if you're learning ancient Greek. So I have to do a lot of self-teaching on top of a lot of tracking down my teacher and asking her to explain to me first, second declensions in idiot terms so that I understand it.
God.
I have to humble
See,
myself.
I'm native Italian and learned English. I thought that was hard.
I bet. But Italian is what, pretty close to Spanish. Well, I mean, kind of close.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of
Overlap.
carryover. It's also close to French, but French has deviated far more from Italian than Spanish has.
Yeah, and then with English and French and Spanish and Italian, they're all derivative of Latin or derivatives of Latin, so it makes it a little bit easier. There's a little bit of a crossover. Same kind of thing with Greek, except Greek is a little bit. It's like a first cousin once removed. If we're talking about relations, so I don't think I actually introduced you to the chat. Everyone, this is Brian. He is a Patreon donor, and we are going to become friends. Say hi to Brian, everybody.
uh,
I'm getting, Quill has just asked me, how much Polish do I know? Absolutely none. My grandparents never learned the language, and so then I never learned the language. When we came over to America, and that was that. That was the end of everything.
so Polish was. It's funny. I grew up in an Italian family, and but Polish was the go-to language when the adults did not want the kids to know what they were saying. So you had Polish being spoken, and I now I know some of the words, some of the not the best of words, in arguments. So it was weird. It was Italian, Polish going on in the household, English going on. It was this really odd, mishmash of languages. But
I'm actually a little bit jealous of you right now because I just grew up with English and maybe some Spanish, but it was always broken Spanish, and that was it. They never spoke it at home. It was always at school that they spoke Spanish, though. Um, and that was it. And I never learned anything. So learning a new language on top of the Spanish that I already know is a lot more difficult for me right now, especially as a 19-year-old college student who's got a lot more going on.
well, here's the problem. So everybody's, people do think, oh, it's awesome, two languages, you learn two languages. You do forget languages. Like my Italian is rusty because I don't use it. So you
Yeah.
will just start losing your language unless you use it all the time. So, yeah, it's cool that know two languages, but then as you start to lose them, you go, oh, now I have to already learn it because I forgot some of it, you know? So,
Yeah, I would imagine it's kind of similar to when you've learned how to play an instrument a little bit. And that I guess I kind of know a little bit Italian because we do use a lot of Italian words when we're going through music pieces. Ugh. But you kind of lose the thread after a little bit. Like there's still the muscle memory that you got, but it takes a little bit of time to get back into the groove of things, but you still kind of know it.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going through that with the piano. I was out of it, bought a keyboard for a friend, and I've kind of for his birthday, and I'm kind of using it until he gets it. And it's like, why did I forget this? Wait.
Mhm.
So, um,
Now, did you learn how to play piano just as a kid, or?
uh, as a kid, I learned it, and I spent probably 20, well, maybe 20 years learning it. Um, until it got to a point of why am I continuing to take lessons? There's like no point at the because I'm not going to make it a lifelong thing. I'm not going to go into symphony or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I totally
So
understand.
so
I
and
spent
then
about the first 17 years of my life learning how to play the violin, and I quickly learned that I didn't want this to become a career. It was just more of like a hobby type thing.
the violin is the one instrument I want to learn, but there's that dying cat phase at the very beginning that my
Yeah.
neighbors would not appreciate.
I,
So
I remember that phase. I was only 2, but I remember it because it was that much of a phase. Oh, oh, and I remember I learned on a violin that was about maybe that big, about as big as my face, because I was such a tiny little kid. So, your arms are not that big, your fingers are tiny. So you're learning to play on what is the equivalent of like a chicken drumstick, like an oversized chicken, maybe. And it's a struggle, especially for the teacher, because they have to like individually place your fingers on the fingerboard, and then they have to like claw your fingers around this tiny little stick that's a bow. And then it's, oh my gosh, it's not only do you need to know how to read music, but you need to know how to stand, because we would stand up, not sit down when we play the violin. And you need to hold the violin in a specific way, otherwise it would look weird and it wouldn't sound good and everything would get tired and you wouldn't be as, capable of playing the more difficult pieces.
mhm.
So, oh, and then I remember learning how to play piano. It was a nightmare too.
Yes. Yeah. The piano is a nightmare, especially when you have the most boring instructor you can possibly have. It's like,
Mm.
which I had. Um, but yeah, no, the violin. The time that said I want to learn violin is I had a friend who uh, knew the violin and she'd been playing it forever. And I go to the college she's attending, and she's right across the hall from a mutual friend of who I'm visiting, and I hear Jimi Hendrix, and I'm like, oh, she's listening to Jimi Hendrix, awesome. So I go in, and her door's cracked open. So I go in to see what CD she's listening to. She's playing Jimi Hendrix on the violin, and it sounds like a CD.
Ooh.
And I'm like, I want to do that, because it was just so jarring that you could do that. I'm like, so.
It's It is a gorgeous instrument to learn how to play. The one instrument that I kind of really want to learn how to play, another string instrument, would have to be the cello, just because of how gorgeous it sounds. And
Mhm.
because I have a thing for like, if it sounds pure and high noted, that's great. But like also low and deep and throaty is kind of, I don't know, just jarring to the soul.
Yeah, it is. It is. So you are not a mandolin person because those are typically quite high and
The mandolin, that's like the mini guitar thing, right?
yeah, it's a 8 stringed.
Yes. I actually heard a guy play the mandolin maybe half a week ago. The school that I go to has a very intensive school of music program, so everyone is at least involved with music in some way. For instance, I am in an a cappella group. My cousin, who also goes to the same school, is a violinist because all of my grandmother's grandchildren grew up playing the violin. So we have a lot of music performances that take place here. We've had Yo-Yo Ma here a couple of times, which was awesome. You know, cello, way to go. But there was a guy here who played the mandolin, and it was very interesting to hear because I'd never actually heard a mandolin in real life being played before. And I was looking at him and he was strumming and he was just having so much fun with it that I would not mind learning how to play several different instruments, in fact. But like the one that I really want to learn how to play at the moment is the cello. Maybe the mandolin at some later point in life. I also want to learn how to play the ukulele just because I like the idea of string instruments. They sound gorgeous to me.
The uke is really easy to learn, and it's a lot of fun. It's just you cannot make a uke sound bad. There is no way. I play guitar. I got into a uke a couple of years ago, and the uke is just fun. I mean, it's useless, but it's fun. So.
Gotcha. I'm gonna take a moment to acknowledge the super chat from Nextgo Reviews. Thank you for the $5. I think that's not $5. It's like what, £5?
£5.
£5. Hope you're doing well, smiley face. I'm thinking of making a podcast. Would you consider guesting in the future? This is not a bribe. Well, I would consider guesting in the future so long as we worked out like a good time for that to be the case, because timing is of the essence. So get back to me like maybe a week, 2 weeks in advance before then. We'll see what we can do. I can't always confirm that the day of the podcast, if you ask me, like on the spot, that I can make it, but I can always try to make it. That's the thing.
They're suggesting to just bribe you, so.
This is not a bribe. Sure, okay.
And now I'm thinking of The Room, and get out of my head. Have you seen The Room, the movie The Room?
I've seen so many individual clips of The Room, like just out of order, but in order, but also like I think CinemaSins did a version of The Room. You know, CinemaSins, where they go through an entire movie and they just sin it constantly. So
yes.
I've pretty much seen all there is to see of The Room, except I have not actually seen it in its entirety in the order the movie is meant to be in. Like, I know everything about it. I just don't know where to find a copy to watch it by myself. And no one that I know wants to play a drinking game when we watch it.
Well, I have a copy. If you would like a copy of it, I have a copy. You don't have to watch it in order because it doesn't follow in order.
I've seen enough to know that would not be the case.
No, my friend termed it the best. It is Stroke Simulator, basically. That's so.
Did you see that they're actually coming out with like a parody of that movie called The Disaster Movie?
Yes.
I am very excited to see that. That's coming out this year, I think.
I cannot believe that. What's his name? And I can't remember his name, but
Franco.
The star of The Room.
Oh, Tommy Wiseau.
Thank you. I can't believe he takes that movie seriously at all. I mean, he takes it seriously. He acts like it's a serious movie, and it's like, get in with the joke and just acknowledge it's bad and move on.
From what I've looked into on Tommy Wiseau, because I have looked at his Wikipedia page, he's kind of like one of those we don't know where this man came from type of people.
No,
spectacle.
It's like half of the staff quit during the filming, and
that's not surprising to me. That entire movie is an absolute train wreck, and I love it to death because of the fact that it's an absolute train wreck.
Well, get with me because I have a copy I can send you. I have, in digital form or whatever, but I do have a copy of it. Yes, I am promoting piracy. Oh,
what? No, of course not. That would never be the case on the internet, even of all places.
But yeah, I did buy a copy because it's that bad. it's enjoyable for just how bad it is. And if you do drinking games, well, you actually may end up alcohol poisoning.
Well, we'll take tiny sips, very, very tiny sips, especially since I'm such a tiny, lightweight person. I know this. Yeah, it'll be a nightmare. I'll need some sort of buddy system to be had.
Uh, so, what do we got going on in the chat?
I'm looking at the chat right now. When it comes to Weebo Jones videos, what has been seen cannot be unseen. Fact! I have no shame. So, really, this time is whatever the chat and my guest would like to make it. If you guys have, like, any suggestions, I have an entire Discord channel full of, suggestions from the lovely Quill that we could go through. Like, you want to go through a news article, or, I don't know, you want to take I went and I found, and I did something hilarious yesterday. I found the white privilege checklist. So check our privilege if you would like to. Really,
What?
it's up to anyone and whatever you guys want to do. I have like no agenda for this stream. It's just woo.
I think we should check our privilege.
Okay, let's check our privilege. I will bring it up in the window and then we can screen share it and then we can go through it and discuss it and pick it apart like the shitlords that we are. Cool. Okay, Weebo Jones, why do you have Nightwing's crotch right at mouth level? I didn't notice that, but thanks, Quill. Now I noticed it.
Oh, so there's a question. What was with the Post-it note that you put on there that said "Monkey, don't look here"?
Okay, so that was an inside joke between me and have you ever seen Ranting Monkey?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so Ranting Monkey and I have this kind of joke where I was on a stream once and he and I and Scribe were talking about whatever, and I guess I accidentally like touched it on stream live. Everyone saw it. I touched it right here in this crotch area, and I guess Monkey cannot ever unsee that whenever I'm filming a video because it's right behind me in most of my videos. So he just he's remarked to me several times about the inability to not see it anymore. So I kind of put the sticky note there as a diversion tactic. I don't think it worked though, so I took it off.
I just saw that and I'm like, okay, it's an inside joke or something I missed in one of your videos or in his videos.
It was on one of those streams, that's why. And then I think in the comment section he makes a comment about how he cannot unsee, or that he just has a tendency to look at the crotch now whenever he sees a video of mine. So that's why. So here's the white privilege checklist that I found. This list is based on Peggy McIntosh's article on white privilege. These dynamics are but a few examples of the privilege which white people classes have. White people are a class now, apparently.
Yes.
Okay, so on a daily basis as a white person, number one, I can, if I wish, arrange to be in the company of people of my race most of the time. See, here's the thing. I go to a very diverse college where we have a lot of international students, but also a lot of minority students because it's a private school. We have the capability of being selective of the people that come here. It's legacy students, but it's also super smart students. So there's a quota of smart students. Not a quota, I'm sorry. There is a high selectivity when it comes to students, and it's not just white students. I have my roommate right this year is I think she's Latina. I'm not sure which sect of Latina though. And then my roommate last year was Filipino. Sorry, I'm trying to be gender inclusive here. But yeah, and that was completely randomized too. So I don't know about you, Brian. Brian, what do you think?
Well, I mean, on my side, yes, I can. I'm part actually of the furry fandom, which is very heavily white very heavily white skewed. So yeah, I mean, I could, um, but I don't know why that makes a big difference. You can arrange to, have anybody in any given area. It's
Yeah, especially since like you live in the United States, correct?
yep,
Okay, so you live in the United States. Sorry, that was hard to get out of my mouth. You live in the United States, and the United States is predominantly white populated, correct?
yes, correct.
This is something that everyone acknowledges. So of course, because of that fact, it's not unsurprising that most white people can't arrange to be in the company of white people most of the time, especially if their family is white. Consider that. I mean, like, who do you spend the most time with? Your family. So, ipso facto, Colombo, Mussolini.
But I am about 30 miles from Detroit, which is heavily black. So
There you go. So you want to go on to the next one then?
Yep.
2. If I should need to move, I can be pretty sure renting or purchasing housing in an area which I can afford and which I can be pretty sure renting or purchasing housing in an area which I can afford and in which I want to live. Did that make sense to you?
It makes no sense. I think what they're trying to say is that you could, like, no, I don't. What in the?
That's why I had to reread it. I was like, am I going blind or dyslexic or something?
No, this is I can be pretty sure renting and purchasing a home in which I'm betting you they're going down the track of you can get into a place you want and there's no racism that will keep you out of the whitey neighborhoods.
I have no idea. I've never bought a house or purchased a house or rented a house ever. I live with my dad when I'm not at college. That's the only thing.
Yeah, and there are places that I would want to move that I could afford, but I could not get into for whatever. I mean, there are all kinds of reasons. So not only does the question not make sense, no comment on that one.
Okay, so we're skipping it then. 3. I can be pretty sure that my neighbors in such a location will be neutral or pleasant towards me. Well, I've never had a negative experience with neighbors. And I've actually, when I transferred from my Montessori school into my elementary school, my mother moved to kind of ghetto area because she had moved out and divorced my father. And so they were living separately. So my dad kind of lived in like the nicer neighborhood of the town that we were living in because, he had a better income than she did. Whereas my mother, she decided to live in kind of the more ghetto area of this town. So what ended up happening was I would I would go between my parents' house. This was when they had split custody evenly. So it was like every other day. So I would go between my mom and my dad's house. And in both cases, no matter where I lived, I didn't have much of a negative experience in either case. And keep in mind that the place where my mother resided had a heavily minority group presence. So there was a large percentage of Indian kids, there was a large percentage of Black kids, there was a large percentage of Asian and Hispanic kids. So it was a very diverse area, and there was no, in my experience, there was no unpleasantness to be had. Of course, there were a few unsavory characters within that area, but such is the case with most neighborhoods where there is a lot more condensed population.
Right. And for me, I don't know if they mean by neutral by you don't even know your neighbors, but I don't know any of my neighbors in the apartment I live in. So I don't even know what kind of disposition any of them would have to me because I see them in the hall. That's it.
I'm sure when I move out of my dad's house and I get my own place, I'm probably going to live in a very, not very unsavory, but a little bit less upper class area than where my dad lives. So I'll probably have some more experiences to go off of. Granted, as a college student at the moment, I don't have like that much experience, but the experience I do have has, influenced my opinion somewhat. So what does that make us? Number 4, I guess?
Yes.
I can go shopping alone most of the time, perfectly well assured that I will not be followed or harassed. Well, I mean, yes, I don't have any instances of being followed or harassed. And mind you, I am a very gorgeous woman, so I've been told. That's
I have been followed, and I know that, and we all get followed. I mean, if you go into upscale stores, you're going to be followed if you're not, because I wear jeans, hoodies, t-shirts. That's what I wear. If you don't fit the store, people will watch you. Okay, it is just it's called inventory control.
mm,
And I know I've been followed, um, and but that's just part of retail.
I guess. See, here's the thing. I wear skinny jeans and boots and t-shirts to the store. And usually what I do is I like have my headphones in and I walk briskly around. I look like a woman on the mission when I go to the grocery store. So I have a list in my hand of things that I need, a pen in my other hand, so I can cross off that stuff angrily because that's what I'm about. I cross things off lists. But I have these like brisk woman on a mission walk, look, stride when I go through the store. So I don't think anyone would have any reason to follow me. Because initially what I got when I read this list item was that, oh, the whole female getting followed and harassed in a public space trope that everyone loves to cite as, a downside of being a person with a vagina. That was my initial reaction, not the, oh, you're going to steal thing. I didn't actually consider that. And then you brought it up, and I'm like, maybe that's what they were talking about.
I think that's what they're talking about. And everybody gets followed. I mean, it's just you walk into an upscale store, as I said, not dressed as, appropriately, quote unquote. People are going to follow you.
Yeah. Most of my experience going to an upscale store, though, would have to be with my grandmother, and my grandmother is the least threatening person you've ever seen. Plus, she's mostly blind, so I don't think I'd get followed for the mere simple virtue of the fact that my grandmother looks the least bit threatening. So does that mean we can go on to number 5 then?
Yes, that does.
All right. I can turn on the television or open the front page of the paper and see people of my race widely represented. Who reads the paper anymore? My goodness. I don't think the last time I saw a newspaper, I was home visiting my grandparents because the only people that I know that read a newspaper is my grandfather, and that is for the comics. Plus, he likes to read. So...
And we again have majority white in the U.S., so yes, there's going to be majority white on TV.
Of course, it's a reasonable expectation to have. I mean, what? I'm sure if you went to, say, for instance, Japan, and turned on the television and opened up a freaking newspaper, although it's Japan, so I don't know if they actually have newspapers anymore. I've never been to Japan. My dad and my grandparents have. But I bet if you went to Japan, you wouldn't see a lot of white people there either. Or black people, for that matter. Or anyone of any other nationality because, it's Japanese culture. Let's be real, they don't give a fuck about diversity.
Exactly.
And then, same thing with Bollywood. If you turn on the TV, I'm pretty sure you're just going to see Indian actors and actresses. Let's be real. Any Bollywood movie you've ever seen consists of Bollywood actors and actresses. That one's one that I don't really understand. And I had a whole discussion about this with people on Twitter for like 2 weeks straight when I posted the redhead representation thing. That was fun. That's an inside joke. I should probably make an entire YouTube response video to that, though, at some point. It'll be a part 2. So, does that mean we're going on to the next one?
Yes, it does. I think so.
Number 6. When I am told about our national heritage or civilization, I am shown that people of my color made it what it was. What? Oh, okay. So, like, George Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, yes. That's kind of the truth. I mean, are you? Here's the thing, though. How far back in history are we going? Because if we're going back to the 60s, let's be real, MLK is kind of like the cornerstone of all history classes that we learn about.
Mm-hmm.
I know this because I went through history classes not too long ago. Remember, I'm only a sophomore in college, people. And then if we're going back to the Revolutionary War, yes, it's going to be mostly white people who migrated to America around that time. It was mostly Europeans. I think I'm right in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that. Brian, you got anything to say about that?
No, not at all.
Nope. You just gonna let me get triggered?
Yes. That's my job.
Just to address the chat, Matt Brown, what was your Twitter fight? If you go through my Twitter and look for the redhead representation tweet, you're gonna find a tweet with about 211 interactions on it, and then like several different derivatives. If you just search redhead representation and then blackwashing Weebo Jones on Twitter, you might find some interesting stuff. It was hilarious. It was the best trolling I've ever had. Until we got to Zen King.
All right. Before we go on to number 7, I will be right back.
All right, no problem. I can carry this myself. I'm a strong, independent woman. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Let's look at the chat. What else we got here? I left the Fright Power movement. He talks shit on Ann Coulter and the Doctor of Common Sense, one of my favorite YouTubers. Is this with regards to another conversation in the chat that I'm unaware of that I haven't been paying attention to? Wow, I should really be able to like split my capability of vision. Yes, hashtag Redhead Lives Matter is the trending hashtag that we've been using for this Twitter shenanigans that I got myself involved in a few weeks ago. It was actually kind of enjoyable. Short, independent women's. Yes, I'm short. Why does everyone always have to bring up the fact that I'm short? Like it's the one universality of any conversation that I'm a part of, whether it be with any of my relatives, my boyfriend, anyone on YouTube or Twitter. Just, you gotta bring up the fact that I can't reach the top shelf sometimes.
Hey, so am I feedback?
Huh? No, I can hear you. You're fine.
Okay. Hey, some people like short women.
I know. Being one of them. And then there's Ranting Monkey, who enjoys midgets a little bit too much, per se.
I don't know if I wanted to know that about him, but okay.
If you've seen any stream that he's been on, you will have known this. Short people need to be constantly reminded how tiny they are. Do they, Monkey? Do they really? All right, so let's go back to number 7 and let Monkey roast people in the chat, namely me. I can be sure that my children will be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of their race.
What?
That testify to the existence of their race. No one is denying the fact that any race exists. Please show me an example of this.
That is just you exist. Okay, there we go. That's end of lesson 1. What the
It's kind of like when they say that white culture isn't a thing. Okay, here's the thing. Culture, by definition, is the existence of typicalities within a group of people of a certain demographic. To say that white culture doesn't exist, just in any capacity, even if you're talking about like just white people as a whole, that negates redneck culture, which is a part of white culture, I guess you could say. That negates Irish culture. A lot of drinking habits to be desired there if you're leaving that one out. That negates, same thing goes for German culture. That negates freaking Canadians and all their niceness. Like, I mean, sure, you can break it down into different entities, but at the end of the day, if you're going to say black culture is a thing, despite the fact that there are so many different groups in Africa that like people exist in, then you can't just break it down for white people too. Any comments for that?
No, not at all. It's just it's not only such a stupid statement. It's just
No, Monkey, do not let people do that. He said everyone tweet out the stream and mention Weebo showing her boobs. She's not showing her boobs.
Oh, jeez.
Not a sellout. Sorry, I just had to stop that shenanigans right there in its tracks.
You know what's going to happen, though. You know it's going to happen.
Boobs. I'm not showing my boobs. That's not for you. Sorry to disappoint. Okay, sorry, but you were saying?
No, I mean, there's... and by the way, if you like remove the Irish culture, they might take Guinness away. So just anybody who's a fan of Guinness, you don't want to piss off the Irish.
I love Irish culture though. I like going to pubs and hanging out with Irish people.
Scottish culture is awesome too.
Oh yeah, especially bagpipes. We actually on campus. Funny story. We have a guy who like dresses up in full Scottish kilt garb and stuff, and he plays the bagpipes. I've never seen him, but I've heard him. So that's like goals. Before I graduate, I need to see the guy playing bagpipes.
I have a Scottish friend who I believe has played the bagpipes a couple of times on a couple of recordings he's done. So
actually there was we had a choral concert a few years ago in high school, and we were allowed to dress up, however we like. This was before, it was taken advantage of and people started doing stupid shit. Well, actually, no, this was when it started getting taken advantage of. But one of the kids in I think it was the tenor section, he decided to dress up in full Scottish, garb with kilt and everything, and the sash and the hat and the shoes and the knee-high socks and whatnot, all of that. And he sang the whole show in that Scottish garb. It was fantastic. And I think he had a solo too. It was great. I love it. I love Scottish people because they're so proud of their culture.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. That is undeniable. The Scots love their culture and they love their booze. So you gotta like them, Yeah,
true. I think that can be said for most exuberant cultures too, though. Let's be real. The Russians, they also love their vodka. The Germans, their booze. Yeah.
All right, where are we at? We are
8, right?
Yeah, 8.
If I want to, I can be pretty sure of finding a publisher for this piece on white privilege. Well, obviously, yes. Let's be real. It was published. Where was it published? It doesn't say, but it was published somewhere, and obviously, it's on the internet right here for me to see. Like one of the first things I found when I looked up white privilege test. This is the checklist that showed up.
It wouldn't be published if a white person had written this.
It might be because white guilt is a hot topic nowadays.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Let's see. Number 9. I can go into a music shop and count on finding the music of my race represented into a marketplace and find the staple foods which will fit my cultural traditions, into a hairdresser shop and find someone who can cut my hair. Yes, you can. Let's be real. There's an entire aisle in fucking Walmart dedicated to ethnic foods. Have you been to Walmart? There are specific. I'm a little bit triggered here because I go grocery shopping a lot and I see this. It's like, do you even live, bro? Get it? Sorry, bad joke. But bad joke aside, there are certain like grocery stores dedicated to one specific culture too, where you can go. Like I've been inside Polish grocery stores. I've been inside like German grocery stores where they get the goods from that specific country imported to America and sell it there. It's not necessarily novelty, but it's like for these people, by these people to go and shop there. And then don't even get me started on hairdressers. Hairdressers, if you cannot do hair to the specifications of whatever person is trying to get their hair done, you are not a good hairdresser. Because let's be real, they teach you how to do all that shit in trade school when you're learning the trade. My mother was a hairdresser. She can, in her prime, before she lost most of her ability to function like a normal human being, in her prime, she was known as one of like the greatest hairdressers on the North Shore. She was like that popular. She had people flying in from other countries to get their hair done by her. So like, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit triggered.
But I will say to the music shop, popular music is skewing more towards the African American scene. At least I've noticed. It's more African American singers are coming up. So
you're not wrong.
So
I mean, where have the good days gone when popular singers used to be like freaking okay. I'm gonna go on another tangent here. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm dominating the conversation. I have been told that so much by my teachers this year. It's crazy. But like, what happened to the good old days when we had like John Denver and friggin' Bon Jovi and Aerosmith, REO Speedwagon, all of these people, they just kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, no, they've gotten older, but like the style of music has been done away with. I feel like we're witnessing 80s music genocide and John Denver music genocide, even though he's kind of dead, but still.
Yes. Yeah, Bon Jovi, you hit one of my favorite bands of all time. I grew up on Bon Jovi.
So did I, but that's because I had a dad who knew how to musically educate children, right?
Yeah, and yeah, we're like killing off. We need to bring back 80s. That's
Yes.
what we gotta do. We have to.
Question: what's your favorite Bon Jovi song?
It's got to be Dead or Alive because that is a song that got me started playing guitar.
I also love that song, but to be honest, my all-time favorite, and I've tweeted about this recently, and it kind of started some other Twitter spat, but I tweeted about it, and it was Bed of Roses, and I remember listening to that song the first time, and I was just like, oh my god, this is my anthem.
Yeah, Bed of Roses is good, and Runaway is a really good underrepresented song of theirs as well.
Monkey is giving me shit for ignoring chat. I'm not ignoring chat. I'm engaged in the conversation here, guys. This is like, oh, this is great. If we had a third person, maybe I could like piggyback off of them, but we don't. So I'll try to address chat a little bit more since Monkey's being a little bitch about it. Just kidding.
If Monkey wants the chat to be, not ignored, he should pony up.
I'm sorry, pants are offensive if you're terribly bored. If you guys want to start asking questions, we'll like switch between the chat and the list that we're reading. If that makes everyone happy, because I'm a people pleaser, but only to a degree. Yes, Monkey, I did just call you a little bitch. But I still love you. It's okay. Yes, I have to agree with the next 6 minutes, and this has to do with the music takeover. The music industry has been significantly taken over by the pop genre, which it's disappointing to me because that's kind of like not the most enjoyable monopoly of all things. Like, I've listened to pop music. It's repetitive, it's ugh, and it's not epic. It doesn't make you feel much. There's no build, there's no tapering off, there's no like there's no true emotion in that music. And as coming from someone who has grown up around all sorts of music, who has played all sorts of music her entire life, who has sang all sorts of music her entire life, it doesn't speak to me in a way that it should, that I would like it to.
It's it's because, well, pop is formulaic, right? It's pop is very easy to produce, and you throw some auto tune in, and anybody can be a singer. And back in the '80s, you didn't have as much of that, so you had to, yeah, it really has. It's an unfortunate thing too, because you got all these great little bands coming up, but they're dominated by what Cash Me Outside, right?
Well, here's the thing. I think the reason why pop music has become so popular is that it's just so easy to produce. I mean, most of the sounds are automated and not necessarily like difficult to reproduce on any level, on any capacity. Whereas you go back to the '80s music, what's a good example of like a sick music number? Totally
Well, like
blanking.
November Rain.
Yes. You were even talking about, you said Dead or Alive, right?
Yeah.
Sick freaking, like, there was a slow build, epic guitar. Just, it was fan freaking tastic.
And, and that was the music that you could hear 3 notes of it and know the song instantly.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's.
I was listening to Crazy Train earlier, like last night, and I was just like, yes, this is the type of music that we need to listen to more often. And because like the first thing that Ozzy says when he opens up Crazy Train is "all aboard," and then you hear the guitar riff jump in, and it's just like, and it's epic. Oh, and thank you, Ranting Monkey. I see $5 to get me to say Weebo loves licking buttholes. Thanks, Monkey. I have no shame. I don't care. Do it.
How'd you like me to?
Great. Now I'm going to have an influx of people in chat donating money to get me to say the worst, most offensive things ever, and then to admit silly things about myself that aren't actually true because I say all of the chats. But yeah, no, we could talk about music all freaking day, man. In our dissatisfaction with this generation's music decisions.
Motorhead. Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like, oh god, just watching the chat. So.
So let's see, what else do we got here? We already went over number 9. Number 10 now. Whether I use checks, credit cards, or cash, I can count on my skin color not to work against the appearance of financial reliability. What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean is that supposed to be like a Trey Martin type of reference? Like, oh, I got arrested because I'm trying to buy a house for my mom. Woe is me type thing.
I have no clue because I mean, the question itself, who uses checks? Number one, if you're using checks, just stop. But number 2. If you have the cash or the credit card goes through, nobody cares. Really, nobody actually cares.
Like, yeah, give me an instance of an actual like legit time, sure, but I bet it's probably like one isolated instance. And if it were a regular occurrence, you wouldn't be able to give me just one. You'd be able to give me like several because, or like cite off. Oh, last week this happened to me. Just last week, because if it sticks out in your brain as something weird, then it's not a norm. Weebs doesn't have boobs. She stuffs a sports bra. This is a man. Okay. You're not helping the trap rumors, Ranting Monkey. A little inside joke. Apparently, people think I'm a trap, and that's going to get taken out of context. I know it. Yes, Ranting Monkey, I have 5 times the D of any man in this chat. Let me just affirm that right now. And I mean that in terms of boob size, because triple D.
I so want to say something to ranting Monkey, but I really don't at the same time.
Fuck. I'm looking at the chat right now.
Actually, I'm going to. Ranting Monkey, you make me sad.
Take that, Monkey. What up? Shadows and Dust. White racism is everywhere. Thank you for this. Thank you so much. Except interracial murder and crime. Blame whites matter. Fuck. You're not wrong. Thank you, Shadows and Dust. I'm sorry, I totally butchered saying that. I should probably say it again just to satisfy. White racism is everywhere, except interracial murder and crime. Blame whites matter. There we go. I didn't butcher it that time. You know, English is my second language. My first language is gibberish. If Weeb wobbles, does she fall down? I don't know. Let's test that theory. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Unless you wanted to say something else.
No,
Monkey, what have you done? Thank you, Sweeper Steven. Weebo likes to tongue butter the turtle cave. LOL, smiley face. You don't know anything about me. Hashtag my life story is not well known. I don't know. That was a shitty hashtag.
You know, like chat has escalated quickly.
Much, very. It's a trap. Thanks, 6. 11. I can arrange to protect my children most of the time from people who might not like them. Why the fuck would you want to do that? No, if people don't like your kids, that's their fault. Unless you raised shitty children, then you have nothing to worry about. I guess.
I have nothing to say to that.
I don't have kids, but my idea of parenting is that if my children, hang on. Fuck. If my children cannot accept that not everyone is going to like them, then they are doomed. But if they can understand the fact that not everyone is going to like them, then, you know, it kind of takes a lot of pressure off of wanting to be liked by everyone. I mean, not everyone has to like you. I remember being a kid and, the stories, man. I was not well liked. I was that kid that sat in the corner and read books and played football.
Yep, that was me. Yeah. School was not fun.
Shadows and Dust, interracial crime and murder. Thank you for $5, by the way. Interracial crime and murder is dominated by black folks. It is not close. Also, what is a trap? Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Interracial crime and murder is dominated by black folks, and a lot of crime and murder is dominated by black folks. If you look at the statistics, they will tell you that. It is not close. Also, what is a trap? Trap. Someone who would like to educate Shadows and Dust as to what a trap is, because actually that's going to be in the next video, I guess. So stay tuned for that. Weebo is my daddy. You know it, Minding Freedom. You know it, my silly little badger child. God damn it. This stream is devolving quickly. Okay, let's get back on track to... No, I did say that the stream was whatever anyone wanted to make it, so I guess I can only blame myself.
Yes, but hilariously so.
Okay. I can swear or dress in secondhand clothes or not answer letters without having people attribute these choices to the bad morals, the poverty, or the illiteracy of my race. Now, this, I will say, is kind of because I do swear. I wear secondhand clothing, and the fuck does anything have to do with not answering letters? That one seems like the odd man out. But back to the swearing and this dressing in secondhand clothing. I will say this: if you don't present yourself in a way that, hang on, if you're not presenting yourself in a way that you want people to perceive you as, then people are going to perceive you as how you present yourself. So if you're Raggedy Ann and you talk like you have no, moral, or not moral, but you have no like hold back, like disrespectfully, then yes, people are going to maybe associate you as a little bit less, but not necessarily because of your race, mostly because you're not exactly portraying a desirable person.
Right. No. Yep. It's exactly right. I mean, if you, you know, the, we all of us, whites, anybody can fall into that. And so this is not a race exclusive thing. It really isn't. It's just if you choose to act like a dick, you're going to be assumed to be a dick. It's
Prime of Candor says he wants to be my daddy. Well, Candor, you and about 3 other people on Twitter, apparently. Seriously though, if you guys like ever get the chance, go on Twitter and follow me, not just because I want followers, but because the amount of shit posting that goes on my Twitter is hilarious. There is so much fun to be had on Twitter. Like, you don't even have to take it seriously. It's just it's there for your enjoyment. I'm not even kidding.
I will follow you like now because I like good shit posting.
Weebs, do your boobs hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you throw them over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your boobs hang low? I don't know. We'll check in 50 years. Apparently I need to do more Redhead Lives Matter shit posts. That's on the agenda, certainly. And I'm going to do an entire video dedicated to that Twitter thread because it was gold. Okay, so we're on, what, number 13? Unless, do you have anything left to say about...
No, I have nothing left to say about that. The one thing I did want to say is it's so unfortunate that I can't shit post on Twitter because there are people that follow me that are so SJW and they are friends, and I don't want to like destroy the friendship, but
you can open up your own Twitter that is separate from your friends. And
yeah, I have to do my After Dark, I have to eventually do that.
yeah, that works. That's why we have a real life stuff, and then we have our non-real life stuff, internet shenanigans.
Well, unfortunately, I use Twitter for my non-real life stuff, and I have followers that are SJWs in my non-real life. It's like, god damn it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that tangent aside, number 13. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah. I can speak in public to a powerful male group without putting my race on trial. A powerful male group? Sexism! Sexist! Hashtag everything is sexist. Sorry, little excitable moment aside. Let's be real. Whenever Donald Trump makes a tweet, there are a number of people who associate that tweet and Donald Trump and all his beliefs with white people. Let's be real. Like, there are a lot of people who apparently represent the white race, too. Supposedly, I say. Not that they actually do, but in the eyes of the masses, that is the case.
Yep.
Is it? No.
Yeah. That's all. I mean, I've got nothing else to add.
Ranting Monkey. I love how they're trying to stick to the topic. Well, you're not making it very easy, Monkey. Thanks. Monkey, does she like a sword fight? What? How would Monkey know about that? Seriously. Yes, I do like to sword fight. with an actual sword. Thank you very much. Been trained in the deadly arts of the sword fight. What are we on? Unless you had something else to say about.
No, I didn't.
14. I can do well in a challenging situation without being called a credit to my race. What?
When has this ever happened? I honestly want to see. So this is one of those ones that kind of really bugs me, because they're saying, oh, I did this today, and they said I was a credit to blacks. When has this ever happened? I want to see proof of it, because
exactly. When has this been the case? Because my initial response is not, oh, you did something good, a credit to your race. My initial response is, oh, you did something cool, good, seriously awesome, a credit to your achievements. You are the arbiter of your own success.
Yeah,
You go to school. Who are your parents? How did they help you? Stuff like that. Not, oh, just because you're a certain race, you have a certain level of intelligence. No. Or skill or capability. No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all.
If this did happen, it would happen probably across all races.
Probably, yeah.
So that's just one that bugs me. It's so stupid that it. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so we're on what, number 15? I am never asked to speak for all the people of my racial group. No, because they never want to hear from white people anymore at all, ever. Not even a little bit.
If you dare to talk about the white race,
Oh.
you're a Nazi. So,
Ranting monkey, I'm a credit to my race. I can dance. I look like I'm having a seizure, but I can do it. Same, monkey, same. 16. We're on number 16. How many left? Oh, 26. Wow, we have 10 more. Holy frick. I will say this. I do have to go at around 7 o'clock because I am trying to make the next showing of the school musical that's going on right now.
Okay.
Because I have several friends who are partaking in it, and I want to support them. So I have to go at 7. If that's okay with the chat and you, Brian?
Oh, that's perfectly fine with me.
All right, fantastic.
This is your stream, after all.
Well, I want to make sure that everyone has good fifis about it. Weebo Jones is a credit to her redhead race. That's another inside joke, because apparently I'm a redhead. Didn't you know, Brian?
If you're a redhead, do you have a soul? That's the question.
That's a good question. Chad, do I have a soul? I can remain oblivious to the language and customs of persons of color who constitute the world's majority without feeling in my culture any penalty for such oblivion. What the fuck? That was... Hang on. What? One more time for the people in the back. I can remain oblivious of the language and customs of persons of color who constitute the world's majority without feeling in my culture any penalty for such oblivion.
That makes no sense.
We're skipping it. Nope. I don't want to even try. I don't want to.
I don't need a headache. I don't need a headache tonight. Thank you.
Weebs has a soul, but her dick does not. How would you know? Yes, you stole all the fractions of soul redheads had to make your own complete soul, Weebo. Thanks. Half a soul, at least. Well, that's generous. Thank you, Kendor. Weeb has no soul. She sold it to the devil in order to get redhead depression points. Yes. Ranting Monkey, how do you know what my penis looks like? Least of all, Ronald McDonald. Jeez, what would that even look like? I need that meme, please. Someone send that to me. Where is Jordan? He's good with this kind of stuff. Let's see. What are we at? 17?
Yes.
Okay. I can criticize our government and talk about how much I fear its policies and behavior without being seen as a cultural outsider.
Again,
Mm, who is viewed as a cultural outsider when they talk about criticizing our government, unless it is someone who is not an actual legal American citizen? Like, honestly, like, anyone has the right to criticize anything about our government, no matter what. And I honestly would like to know who thinks this, aside from actual racist people.
yeah. No comment on that one either.
18. Then I can be pretty sure that if I ask to talk to the person in charge, I will be facing a person of my race. Okay, what the fuck does that have to do with anything at all? Seriously. And also, I would never ask to speak with a person in charge. I am not your average typical white suburban mom with the can I speak to the manager haircut? No, I am not that. Sweeper Steven, thank you for the $5. Jones is Weebo. Weebo is Jones. Weebo is man. LOL. Smiley face. You can't prove that. No one can prove that. Haha. Thanks. She seems determined to stick to that list. Well, when you guys keep bringing up the fact that I might or might not be a trap, it's a struggle. I will say this, though. If at some point I get to 1 million subscribers, I will reveal the truth of whether or not I'm a trap. There you go. Brian, you still there? Brian?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I muted myself. I coughed.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
okay. No problem. Sorry. I didn't know. I thought you had gone. Disappeared into the ether.
I was reading chat and dying laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, that happens.
Okay.
Weebo, if you were black, do you think your pubes would be easier to shape? That's a good question, Ranting Monkey. I'll get back to you. Pubes. Did you have anything to comment about 18? That was the...
No, because I'm also not a person that's going to go, I want to speak to your manager. It's just...
I'm not that kind of a person because I don't get worked up enough to actually want to speak to a manager. I just kind of want to get in, get out, and get it over with, you know? If I don't have to be in a place longer than I have to be, then it's good. Okay. Let's see. Number 19. If a traffic cop pulls me over, I can be sure I haven't been singled out because of my race. You don't know that. You don't know what goes in the mind of a cop at all. What if it's a black cop? Yeah, there you go. You cannot be sure of anything. That's the thing. Especially when there are other people involved. You cannot be sure. The most convoluted variable of all variables is the human variable, because humans, they're not universal and static. Always change. They're all different too. I know I'm right about that.
Yep. And you know what? It's they're pulling me over because of my race. Well, you can also be pulled over because you're from out of state and you're easy to, ticket since you're not going to fight it. I mean, there's so many.
Exactly. Most cops want to know what people are doing in their town, especially if that person is unique to that area. Like, they've never seen that person before. They think, who is this stranger? It's kind of like Stranger Danger 101, especially if that cop has been working in that town and it's a small enough town that they know it inside and out. Also, get it in, get it out, get it over with. Weebo sex model. Very sad sex motto. I wouldn't say that that's my sex motto at all. I actually like to enjoy sex. Thank you very much, Minding Freedom. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Was that all you had to say about that one?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's
Yeah. 20. I can easily buy posters, postcards, picture books, greeting cards, dolls, toys, and children's magazines featuring people of my race. Well, I mean, again, there's the whole demographic majority argument there.
yep. I mean, yeah, it's who are they gonna sell to? The majority because they're gonna make more money.
It's the glory of capitalism.
It's just
Hail the dollar.
yeah.
You're,
It,
you're welcome to move to China if you would like to witness some loose communism, or you know, what was it? Russia when the Soviet Union was at its highest, at its height.
if if you move to Russia today, it's still just as bad. So
I wouldn't know. I've never been to Russia.
from what I have heard, Russia is just as bad as it was at the highest point of communism. That's just now everybody's completely broke. So
Festering mood at Ranting Monkey. I will never feel guilty for shitposting in any one of your streams ever again.
there you go.
There you go, Festering. Yeah, I know he is being good. You should have seen him like the very first live stream that I was on. Oh boy. It was that all you had to say about number 20?
Yep, that's all I got to say. It's the simple answer: economics. There you go.
Yep. That's applicable to at least like 3 or 4 of these separate bullet points. Like you could condense them into one and just still be saying the exact same thing. It doesn't matter. Capitalism. Let's see, we're on 21, right?
Yep.
I can go home from most meetings of organizations I belong to feeling somewhat tied in rather than isolated, out of place, outnumbered, unheard, held at a distance, or feared. Well, here's the thing. Depending on your personality, that has a lot to do with how you are viewed by a group of people.
Right.
Who you are, how you are approached by people has more to do with who you are than what color your skin is.
And also say if you leave a meeting in an organization and you feel out of place, maybe you shouldn't be in that organization, because
Exactly. Not even necessarily just because you feel like an outsider because of your skin color, but if you feel like an outsider because maybe those people they have different personalities than you or different tastes. Like, people are different. Get over it. It's kind of a thing.
yeah, I went home from a meeting at my job and I felt out of place. Why are you working at the job? If you feel out of place, you're just miserable at work. Leave.
Exactly.
It's not that hard, really. Uh, so that's it for 21, at least on my side.
Mm-hmm. Hang on, I'm responding to Monkey in chat.
Oh, and by the way, if anybody hears yowling or squeaking, that would be a cat who has decided to visit. So.
Oh, I love kitties.
I've got a Maine Coon who's being a butt right now.
Gonna go grab some food back in a few. Don't forget, Weebs is a woman. You know it. Okay, so number 22 we're on. I can take a job with an affirmative action employer without having coworkers on the job suspect that I got it because of race. Well, here's the thing. If your employer is an affirmative action hirer, then the chances are, let's be real, that might be the case.
Yes,
if there's a possibility of that being the case, then they're gonna have that suspicion.
Yeah, if you have a quota and you are in that quota and you get hired, people are going to suspect it's because of the quota. It's just
that has nothing to do with white privilege at all. That has to do with the fact that the soft discrimination of low expectations or something. What is it like? Is that what it actually means, or what it actually?
It's the I can't remember.
Racism, low expectations, or something.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, if like Google. Oh, okay, we want to hire minorities and women. If a woman gets hired into the tech team, yeah, it's going to be assumed that she was hired because she's a woman. It's sorry, that's the way it is if you go into those type of companies.
Thank you, Quill. He says it's the soft bigotry of low expectations.
There we go.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like, I didn't know because I forgot. But yeah, as you were saying, like if I, as a female who is going into computer science, I would rather be told, like straight up, what it is, what qualities, what professional skills, whatever I am lacking as to why I didn't get the job, than get the job because I am just a female, not because
Right.
I'm good enough to get it.
Yeah, and that is that is yeah, and that's the way that most. I mean, and we're going to go into tech, but I know a number of women who are in tech, and in fact, my friend's wife used to QA for Caterpillar, so she got to try to destroy parts. And she would rather have been hired on her merits. It's not like, oh, I deserve a job because I'm a woman. No, it's
Yeah, no, it's unfathomable to me. And especially as someone who's worked extremely hard in her life to get, well, I haven't really gotten that far. I'm in college, but as someone who worked really hard in high school in order to get into a good college and a good merit scholarship, I want to know that I got it simply because of my hard work and my skills and the way that I pursued that, not because of vagina.
But wouldn't that go for anything? Like, let's say you got into a school and your essay, you talked about something happening in your past or your family or whatever. You'd want to know that you didn't get into the school because they felt bad for you. You'd want to know you got into the school because of your merits.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it goes for everything.
Yeah, and actually my admissions essay, and they addressed this when they sent me my acceptance letter, but in my admissions essay, um, I talked about a family rite of passage that I had, that my family has, and at some point I'm probably going to post this video on YouTube, but it's basically when you turn 17 in my family, what we do is you go to the nearby bar, and you get like a little tiny shot glass, and you fill it with some sort of non-alcoholic beverage, like mine was Sprite. And then you put a living fish inside of that.
Okay.
And then you take a shot of the fish Sprite and you down it all in one go. That is what I talked about. My entire essay was about that single moment in my life. Nothing else, nothing more. I didn't address any of the hardships that my parents face in their divorce, any of the child custody disputes that went on, any of the hardships that my father faced in the family court system. None of that shenanigans. I talked about absolutely none of that. Simply, I wrote a fantastic, well-versed essay on eating a fish, a living fish, which, by the way, it was freaking crazy because it moved in your mouth when it was going down too.
Nope. No. Just no. Just no.
Just Brian nopes the fuck out. Would not do that even if you paid me.
I have eaten some weird things, but no, that's the limit.
I'd eat anything so long as it was good. If I don't like how it tastes, I'll probably just end up spitting it out. Monkey, spoilers, dude. Come on. What the frick? So let's see. What were we on? We were on 20.
No, we're on
We're
23.
23.
Yeah.
I can choose public accommodation without fearing that people of my race cannot get in or will be mistreated in the places I have chosen. Like, so what is this with regards to? Are we talking about...
Are we talking hotels or are we talking...
a public college or...
I really... I don't... I honestly don't know. This... Without...
Does anyone in chat have a suggestion as to what this is with regards to? Because
yes.
I'm like, public accommodation, hotels.
Aren't there laws in place for that? Yeah, as far as
There
I
are
know.
laws. There are definitely laws. Thank you, Zephyr. Weebs is a spitter. You don't know that.
I really don't. I mean, I have no clue what they're talking about. But there are laws.
Yes.
Are they talking about
Public housing, Doubting Tommy says.
public housing? Are they alluding to like the whole some homosexual couples can't go to an orchard and get married? Are they trying to go down that
No, because
avenue?
this is a white privilege checklist, not a heterosexual privilege checklist.
I, I have no. Yeah, the question is nonsense. I
Ranting
agree with
Monkey
Zephyr.
Ranting Monkey says he's going to name his stream tonight. Weebs is a spitter. I am not a spitter. I will bear that fact proudly to my grave. Thank you very much. Sorry, but I had to set the record straight with Mr. Monkey.
Mr. Monkey. I don't know if he deserves that.
But yeah, no, you're right. I'm not entirely sure what they mean exactly by public accommodation. Like, are we talking?
G Prime is saying motels, hotels, hostels. I think that's what they're saying. I think, but
I have no idea. Yes, mining freedom. I'm a swallower. If my story about a living fish getting swallowed by me was not evidence enough. Gosh, I'm revealing a lot about myself today. What about you kids in the chat? Are you spitters or quitters? Come on, if I'm sharing, you gotta share too. You don't actually have to do that, but I'm not sure exactly what we're supposed to say with regards to number 22. Without a little bit more information, public accommodation could mean a number of things depending on how you view it.
Quill. Oh God.
Weebo Jones, I seriously want the t-shirt that says thousands of my potential children died on your daughter's face last night.
I want that shirt too. Oh
You know
no.
what? I'm gonna make it up in the Teespring store and then I'm gonna post it all over.
I would buy it.
All right, let me just remember that idea.
Because that's just I mean so
It's
sick and wrong.
going. It's going. Yep. Now it's an idea. Now it's an actual thing. It's gonna be a thing. Okay, I'm done with that one. That one, 23. Since we don't have enough information to actually.
Yeah, no, it's just it's badly worded.
I can be sure that if I need legal or medical help, my race will not work against me.
There's laws against that.
Again, yes, there's laws.
And Hippocratic oaths and all kinds of other things.
It's on T-shirt hell in dripping letters. Oh, okay, so it's an actual T-shirt then.
Oh, darn it. Well.
Ranting Monkey. Weebs, do you swallow because you're a poor college student and it's cheaper than ramen? Well, see, here's the thing. My boyfriend lives about 4 hours away, so even if that were the case, it wouldn't help that much. Fuck. Okay, let's go on to 24 then. Because 23 is, again, pretty self-explanatory. There are laws on the books that prevent that kind of shit from happening. So, 24 then. I can be sure that if I need... Oh, wait, fuck. We already did 24. 25.
Yes.
In my day, week, or year, if my day, week, or year is going badly, I need not ask of each... What? I need not ask of each negative episode or situation whether it has racial overtones. Okay, if you're doing that, you have a very sad existence.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Because if you were attributing all of your life's problems to the fact that racism is a thing, then you're not gonna get out of that rut anytime soon.
Yeah, you seriously need to reevaluate your life.
Yeah. Like, there are ways to improve your life that don't involve asking yourself if it's because of racism. Oh, so Quill posted the link in the chat.
Oh, I do see it.
You know, I'll just take that link for research purposes at some point later on.
Yep. Just gonna,
Delicious.
just in case. Good gift for somebody. Anyway.
Ranting Monkey, Snub, I'd sell mine, but I'd be worried someone would spread it on a toilet seat and it'd be confronted with actual toilet-born bastards. Yep. Legit worry there. So, Weebo, would you rather eat Mexican, Asian, or some good old soul food? What's soul food?
Soul food is African American, like macaroni and cheese, okra, that type of food.
Okay, well, I really do like mac and cheese, but at the same time, I have a preference for Mexican food because I have like this thing for spicy food. I love it so much. I put hot sauce on all of my foods, spices, paprika, cumin. Just, mm, mm. My fajitas are the best fajitas. Just saying. Festering wound. That's rude. I bet there's a truck stop near you and you could get a full belly. Truckers love traps. Thanks. Okay. I don't know why that would apply to me. Never said I was a trap, guys. Come on. Okay, so we're on to 26 now, unless there was something that you wanted to address with 25.
No.
Okay. In that case, 26. I can choose blemish cover or bandages in flesh color and have them more or less match my skin. You know how difficult that is? Plus, here's the thing. I don't really give a shit.
And there's another aspect to this. Bandages are the color they are so that you can see when they're getting dirty. That's kind of simple. So there's a reason they're that color. I think Teal Deer did an entire rant on this.
Mm-hmm. And you know, you're not wrong, but here at the same time, like if you're putting blemish cover over your skin, that's just gonna make things worse in terms of blemishes.
Yeah.
I use a very minimalistic amount of makeup on my face, so I don't actually have to worry about a blemish cover. And then at the same time, bandages in flesh color. I don't give a shit if it's flesh color. I give a shit if it covers up my wounds. That's all it needs to do. That's all I care about, okay? It's going to be there for a day and a half before I rip it off. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And there is a reason for the color, so it's just...
And then at the same time, if that's like the biggest issue that you face in life, please cry me a river.
Yeah, I know. If that is your biggest problem, I envy you. Seriously, you know...
See, my biggest problem is how am I going to go to college at the same time that my brother's going to go to college and still pay for it? Like, that's my biggest problem. I don't know what. Band-Aids? Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Why are you guys talking about my fake masturbation? We're talking about real-life problems here. Band-Aids and blemish coverings.
I mean, these are the most important things in life right now. It's just...
It's a non-issue at best, and at worst, it's like, boy. I'm sure that in like third world countries where all they have is like dirty ass, nasty cloths that are 40 years old that have been through hell and back to bandage a fucking wound that like they would kill to have non-skin color bandages. I like my band-aids with Batman logos on them. You know, Prime? Me too. Me too. I like my band-aids with a little bit of character on them. Quite literally character. What about you, Brian? What kind of band-aids do you like?
Just any of them. I don't care generally. No, it's just like... Although, now I want Snoopy ones for some odd reason, but, you know.
Snoop Dogg every day.
So I think that list will drop your IQ.
A little bit.
We need the clip of oh, what is it? You get no points. We're all stupider for it. Whatever.
Oh yes, no, that one scene from Billy Madison.
Yes, that one.
That I think that quote was actually based on a real life instance.
It wouldn't
I
surprise
saw
me.
that in a video somewhere. Snowbirth says, "I just used duct tape and cotton swabs." Swab.
But funny. I have a friend who actually cut his leg on a piece of sheet metal, and decided that instead of going to the hospital at that time to put paper towel and duct tape on it. He ended up in the hospital in the end.
Oh boy.
I mean, just for stitches.
Zephyr says, "I like my band-aids soaked in male tears. Delicious."
Redneck band-aids. Okay.
Yep. Festering Wound says, "I don't wear band-aids. I don't want to heal." Well, that's an acceptable response considering your name. See, if it's something small, like I don't know, you picked a zit too much and now it's kind of bleeding everywhere, you can just ice it a little bit, put some Neosporin on it, maybe put a Kleenex over it for a little bit of time so that it doesn't do anything, but at some point it's going to clog up. Yeah, bitches do love scars. Thank you, Ranting Monkey.
And tattoos.
Okay, so Quill has sent me something in chat that he really wants me to read.
Oh boy.
It's an article. I'll also put this in the what the fuck is it called? The doobly doo. The
Discord?
no, the description.
Oh, there you go.
Description of the channel after I re-upload this. There we go. Groom humiliates cheating bride, plays infidelity video before wedding guests. You know, I would totally do that too. I am that petty. Especially if I've been wronged like that and I was marrying that person. I'd be so salty. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah. I probably would too. Yeah.
The fact that he had a video, though, that concerns me a little bit because it speaks to how did he get a video and also, like, how far in the video did they get?
Yeah, no, that is a good. You mean that is a good point. He had that available, so he had to have known something was going on. Well, he knew it was going on, so why? I don't know.
Here, I'm screen sharing the
Yeah, I pulled it up just so I could see the headline.
Yep, screen sharing it now. So a groom in Singapore decided to teach his cheating bride a lifetime lesson by playing a footage of her alleged infidelity in front of their wedding guests. But yeah, so there's a point where it's acceptable to do that until you get to the actual sexy time stuff. But like up until the whole nudity thing, I think it would be fair game as long as you're not showing more than you need to, especially if there are impressionable young children there. Okay, Quill, I'll read the rest of it. According to Mirror, their loved ones and guests were stunned when they saw the bride behaving intimately with another man on the screen. The video, as reported, began with the bride and the groom's relationship so far, but suddenly there was a clip of the bride with another man going into a hotel room and afterwards had intercourse in the room. According to sources, the groom, who is a wealthy businessman, hired a private detective to trail his wife to be A few weeks before the wedding, perhaps he had suspected that she was cheating on him. After the video was played at the wedding, the embarrassed and humiliated bride is said to have run out of the wedding hall. Well, I mean, what else do you do? No, don't play the video. Hopefully it doesn't play the video. There was a video. Chat, what do you guys think? Why would you still marry the hoe? Oh, did you actually go through with it? It was not clear whether the ceremony had taken place by the time the groom got revenge on his cheating partner. Okay, so there's that thing.
Okay.
If it had taken place afterwards, then they probably wouldn't have gotten married. But if it had taken place, or if it had taken place prior to the wedding, then it probably wouldn't have been the case. If that makes any sense. Did I articulate that?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
Okay. It's been a long week. Can you tell?
It's been one of those weeks, and
okay, let's see what else. So I wonder what gave the guy like cause to believe that his bride-to-be was cheating on him. Like, was it just him being paranoid, or what up?
Well, if he's a wealthy businessman, it may be that he just didn't. He wanted to be sure before he invested money into her.
Yeah.
So it may have just been a precautionary thing. Maybe he had no idea. Because I mean, if I'm wealthy and I'm getting married, there's a little suspicion. At least I would be a little suspicious that it might be for money, and maybe I'd watch a little bit more carefully. So
let's continue on. The story became viral after the secret detective hired by the groom, Ms. Zhu, granted an interview with a Singaporean media on the issue. Zhu said she expected her client to call off the wedding, but she was amazed when she received an invitation to their wedding. She claimed she spent 6 weeks monitoring the fiancé before reporting back to her alleged findings to her client. She said it was only when she saw the tape of the woman appear at the wedding that she understood the groom's motivation. The footage was played in front of many guests, said Ms. Zhu. Oh, Ms. Zhu said the couple and the alleged lover have not been named. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
No mouth. Where is that window that I need to go back to? Okay, so that was fun. Thank you for that, Quill. But yeah, no. If that were the case, if that had happened to me, you guys can see my peanut butter. I love this peanut butter. But if that had been the case and that had happened to me, I totally would have done that prior to being married, because I don't want to be married to someone who is unfaithful.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have gone through with even the ceremony, because it's. I mean, I guess the humiliation is there, but still, it's you're putting out money to humiliate your, future bride who is
True.
cheating.
If he had done it, if you have money to blow like that, then yeah, sure, go ahead, do it. But like, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't well off financially, and also like.
I wouldn't be showing where to manage a porn in front of
no,
wedding
of course
guest
not.
either.
You probably cease and desist before it got to that point. Hopefully you would do that. Otherwise, then you're just a dick. Like, you are equal parts dick.
The article doesn't make it clear, but it did say they went into the hotel room and had sexual intercourse. So I'm wondering if he showed the whole damn thing.
Ranting Monkey Weebs, do you own a shirt with sleeves? I do, but I tend to cut them all off because I just like this style a lot better. It's free. It's freeing. You got a problem with my shirt choices, Monkey?
Oh, God.
Prime, notice how Weeb has moved in front of Nightwing's crotch since Monkey is in here. And your point? I'm not showing side boob. I wear bras. Jeez.
Pestering wound feels bad for the guests. Don't. I'm rather enjoying
yourself, Brian.
I'm rather enjoying this, so don't feel bad.
I'm enjoying this too. But yeah, no, so we were talking about the woman. No. We were talking about being petty enough to show it, but not petty enough to show it as porn. Because once you get to that point, all sympathy for you is just out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You show porn in front of your wedding guests. Come on, really? How petty are you?
I mean, still have the party afterwards. Maybe just don't invite half of the congregation for the wedding would probably leave though at that point though too.
The after party would be interesting
It would be.
and awkward.
I don't want to know what happens after the fact. That would make a fantastic movie though if that were like what happened, like the climax of the wedding where I don't know, that would be a funny rom-com. Don't you think?
It probably, yeah. In fact,
That's multi-million movie dollar idea.
it would probably be better than every rom-com out. So
yeah, like because at the end, no one got together. They just had a huge ass party, and that was it.
And it might actually pass the Bechdel test. So.
Ranting Monkey asks, Weeb, do you wear short shorts like Walmart shopper short? I'm considering doing it myself, but they look a bit uncomfortable, and I'm looking for pointers on how to not squish my nuts. Okay, the best possible way to wear something that looks comfortable and not squish your nuts, coming from someone who doesn't have a pair of nuts, but frequently talks about nuts for whatever reason, you want to wear, like, kind of looser fitting shorts, just because they're a lot more fun. I prefer, whenever I wear shorts, to wear pajama shorts, but that's just me. Because they're a lot more comfortable. But they do have workout shorts that you could wear, too. Ryan, any input?
No, I have no input on that.
No input on short shorts? Okay.
God.
Just thinking that Monkey is always getting young girls like Weebo and SDA on his chats. Daddy issues? No, mommy issues. I love my father so much. He's a good man. He's a good man. No, I have mommy issues. Let's just put it at that. Nuts on the brain, Weebo? Yes. I have peanut butter right here in front of my face, so of course. Quill wants me to do a review of Star Trek Discovery, but I don't know a lot about Star Trek. I don't know. I don't feel like I'd be comfortable making a review of it, because here's the thing. Ooh, actually, no, I have an idea. I could do one as Missy Andrist. Yeah. Video review of Star Trek.
Is it actually that bad? I have not watched any Star Trek ever. But I've heard people say it was a horrible movie. So.
No, it's what, a series right now?
Or was it? Oh yeah, that's right. It's a series.
Like I said, I don't know that much about it. I've only seen what I've seen from other YouTube creators online who have expressed their distaste with it, which was extensive.
Actually, a friend of mine is watching and enjoys it. So I've not watched a single, aside from Trouble with Tribbles, I have not seen any Star Trek.
I could do one, Quill. Can we meet in the middle, and can I do it with the wig? Take the shit out of it as the feminist character, Missy Andrist, because that would be a lot more fun, I think. I have one planned for Wonder Woman, though, so that's the thing. Like, would I do it before Wonder Woman? I do the Wonder Woman one, or after the Wonder Woman one? I got a lot of content planned. So much to do, so little time to do it. The guy is a random guy.
I was asked, WR asked, who's the guy? And I didn't want to interrupt you and answer him, so, or whoever. I am just a random guy.
Just random.
Yeah, I just throw shekels at her.
I just picked them off the street, and that was it.
So I just throw shekels at her, and Yeah, I get invited on a stream.
Dance, Weebo, dance.
uh,
Okay, I will do it with the feminist character. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I also need to figure out how I'm going to be able to watch it since it's on a stream site, so that's a thing. Also, Weebs, we're waiting for your commie video. I'm getting that done. Okay, first I got to do because Brian, so you have some information. I suggested to the people in Discord that I do a video basically called Communism, a step-by-step guide to success, taking the piss out of everything communist from like its inception all the way to now.
mm-hmm.
And they suggest in Discord they gave me a whole list of like possible steps for the actual thing, and I'm taking them into consideration. I'm also writing the script for that thing because it's a very intensive, very involved episode of Weebo shenanigans. Excuse me, I burped. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be dank.
Which is always good. Dank is good.
Dank is swell. KJM radio show. Not much is up at the moment, actually. Just hanging out with Brian, hanging out with you kids, and then in another 15 minutes I got to go to a musical on campus. Yay me.
What is a musical? Is it
something to do with Frankenstein, I think.
Okay, so it's not like they're not doing Les Mis or something like that. It's okay.
That would be cliche. Colleges are anything but cliche. But I helped work on the costumes for those for the musicals and actually any show that we do at school because I work in the costume shop and I make things for people. I'm basically what's the word I'm looking for? The handmaiden. Yumi.
Oh, speaking of, I don't know if you've ever mentioned this in a video because I don't recall. How your college is it infested with SJWs?
Kind of. Here's the thing. I go to a very heavily alumni-influenced school, and also any student that goes here has a large say in what goes on at the school because of the fact that we're paying a shit ton of money to the school. So we have a lot of say in what goes on and what doesn't go on. So there are a set of students who are very heavily involved in the SJW scene, but at the same time, we have two separate, like more right-leaning political groups on campus. For instance, Young Americans for Liberty. We have a group here. I'm actually part of that because I wanted to be part of a group, and I didn't want to become a college Democrat. And then we also have college Republicans as well. We get BLM to show up on campus at times, but then we also get a few other, religious shenanigans to show up on campus sometimes. It's diverse in thought as well as in the content of the people here, especially since it's the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Midwest. So it's not too SJW infested, but it's not SJW infested. It's like we clash.
Okay.
Not in a violent way.
But yeah, but at least there's that clash. There's not, because like U of M. So I'm not near U of M, but that's a big college nearby. Is gone full SJW, which is unfortunate because U of M was an amazing college.
Yeah,
but
the fact that I go to a private school probably helps a lot, and also the fact that we have an influx of what do you call them? International students who don't give a shit.
Right.
So there's many different groups here, and it's kind of hard for any one of them to take control unless they're super loud about it, in which case you just be loud right back.
Let's see. Michigan going SJW makes me sad. It also makes me sad as well. So it is infesting Michigan State. It's infesting. Well, it's not hitting Michigan Tech, thankfully, but Michigan Tech is mostly male. So, um,
Festering wound. Wow, Weebo Jones, a gay man in theater making outfits. Who would have thought?
Detroit's not full. Matt Brown says Detroit is full Muslim. Detroit is not full Muslim. East Dearborn is pretty bad. Is pretty bad for that though. It's East Dearborn. All the signage is in Arabic and then English underneath it in smaller print. So, but Detroit's not full Muslim yet.
Hmm. Detroit, as in like there. Wait, Detroit. There's a college. It's specifically in Detroit.
Just Detroit in general. But there's there's is there a college in Detroit? I can't remember if there is specifically one directly in Detroit. I know U of M might be. I have no clue. But yeah, no. Detroit is not yet gone Muslim, but Dearborn, it might as well be. And you know those videos that go, white people could walk down the street without any fear. Um, I wouldn't want to walk down Dearborn Street at any time because it is that bad. So
I don't think I've ever been to Michigan. I've been to pretty much every other state except for Michigan. And Monkey, I shave. I've never used Nair in my life, but I don't know. Have you? What do you do, Monkey? Do you shave or Nair?
napalm all of Detroit and burbs. I'm in one of the burbs. Do not napalm me. Thank you. Well, sort of in one of the burbs.
Prime of candor, I will say this. He says colleges are full of SJWs thanks to teachers / professors teaching that crap. Depends on what subject you're learning. For instance, as a psych and comp sci major, it's a less prevalent thing that's occurred to me so far. Granted, I've only taken 2 comp sci and 3 psychology classes, and they're a lot less than most of the humanities classes that I've taken before. So honestly, it depends on the subject that you're going into. If you're going into a humanities class, yes, you are going to get an influx of SJW shenanigans.
Quill says won't go to Dearborn unless I'm armed. Absolutely agree with that. I won't. I don't go to Dearborn at all. It no. Just levels. All levels are no on that. Ugh.
What about Chicago now?
I won't go to Chicago. Although, well, I'll go as far as I'll go as far as O'Hare, just because cheaper to fly out of. Although I'm being threatened that I'll be dragged to Chicago for a day. So we'll find out.
I've actually been to Chicago many times, living in the state of Illinois for most of my life. I actually, it's not bad, so long as you know where you're not supposed to go.
Ranting Monkey, are you actually in Michigan?
I think so. If he does live in Michigan, yeah, I'm definitely taking a road trip out to Michigan just to see my favorite monkey. We'll hang out. I'll give you a giant monkey hug.
It's be a tiny world. Because Ranting Monkey turned me on to you. So
Really?
yes, because he was doing a response to the second rape joke video,
Yeah.
and he mentioned yours. And that's why I ended up finding you. So,
and then you made that comment about how I inaccurately.
yes.
How did you put it again?
So yeah, in that video, you said that the semi-auto that she was shooting had a 20 round extended magazine. And you said that even with you said that there'd be no way she could get 21, 22 shots off. If one was in the chamber in a fully loaded mag, you could get 21 shots, not 22. But as you said, it wasn't extended, so.
Yeah, it wasn't extended, but at the same time, I counted it off, and I'm pretty sure it was like 22, 23.
It was 22 shots. Yep.
Yeah. Even if she had one extra one in the chamber, she would have been one over.
And somebody asked what burb I'm in. I'm actually about 30 miles outside of it, in an area of like Sterling Heights, Shelby Township in Utica. If anybody actually knows where that is, you get absolutely nothing because there are no points. But that's where I am.
Now I got to take a trip to Michigan. I'll just hang out in Michigan and just be like, "Have you seen this monkey?"
um, Michigan is, there's some interesting stuff to do in Michigan. Just never come here in the winter because you will question how a state can get as cold as we do.
You've obviously never been to the city of Chicago during the winter when Lake Michigan decides to freeze everything.
Yeah. I've heard negative 40-degree wind chills in Chicago. I still
Windy City just because it's because of the politicians.
I remember, well, a few years ago we had a string of negative 18s for a solid 2 weeks. Every road was frozen solid for 2 straight weeks.
Yep,
It's like,
that sounds about right. We get a shit ton of snow out in the suburbs of Chicago, though. Like, I think there was like 2 winters ago. You could not go outside of your house without getting like knee-high shit, depending on where it was you lived. Monkey says, I'd rather 114 than negative 15. Depends. Am I outside during that time or am I inside? Because if I'm inside, then I definitely want the negative 15. But if I'm outside, then yeah, sure, 14 or 114. Because if I'm outside, I can just take a dip in the water. But if I'm inside, then like I can warm myself up.
Matt Brown, salt on the roads. Michigan never has enough salt. We are on top of the largest salt mine, but we sell it all to Canada, so we never have enough salt. Oh, God.
Snowbirth says, you Northies don't know the chill that is Central Illinois. Well, Central Illinois can suck my dick. Monkey, you used to live in Glenview? Wow, nice. Cool. I've lived all over the northern part of Illinois and the suburbs of Chicago, so like represent several different suburbs. Quill's Ranting Monkey says, Quill, I don't get too hot. I love the heat. Cold sucks. I don't mind the cold. I've actually been all the way as far as north as Alaska. But at the same time, I've been pretty far south too, to the point where Arizona midsummer when it's like super hot. So as I can manage the conditions in a way that regulates my body temperature, we're good, I guess. Plus, I'm a snowboarder at heart, so I do a lot of snow stuff out of necessity. How's that pop tax taste? I've been trying not to drink too much pop. Oh yeah. Thank you, Zephyr. It's 6:53 or 7. 6:53. 7. 7. There are 3 minutes left. So if there are 3 minutes left, if you guys have anything left that you guys want to ask, Brian, if you have anything left that you want to say to the chat, to me, any qualms or conundrums that you got,
No, I don't. I've enjoyed this. The chat has been quite amusing, so it's a good way to end the week.
Yeah, especially since it's been such a it's been a busy week for me because I've been studying my ass off, and then I had a paper to write. So this is a nice way to kind of chill.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys, and then just kind of wind down a little bit, and then I get the rest of the weekend to worry about everything else. Weebo, what's the weirdest sex dream you've ever had? I'll let you know when I find out. I don't get a lot of sex dreams. I have a lot of really vivid, weird storytime dreams. Like the most recent dream that I remember having was I was in the middle of medieval England or something, and we were in the middle of like trading season, and there was this big festival going on where we were trading stuff, and my boyfriend was there, and he gives me, and for some reason he's some sort of like cloth trader, so he gives me a big ball of wool in the shape of a heart. It was adorable. And then I woke up and I told him about it, and he's like, That's really oddly specific. And it was vivid, too. How sexy are dolphins on a scale of 14 to 88? I'd have to go with, and here's my cheap imitation of a dolphin call. Hang on, let me get some water in this shit. Because I can do a hella good dolphin call when I'm not dying of thirst. There's not enough phlegm in my throat. Fuck! Yeah, no, like I said, I can do it, but not right now. For some. But I'll answer with a solid 69. Where, Renting Monkey, were you a trap? I don't know. It's a good question. Weebo, ever raised cockers? I love them. Cockers? Like dicks? Or are we talking like chickens? And we're at the top of the hour. Yes, I had performance anxiety, Quill. It has nothing to do with the fact that I've been talking for 2 hours straight. Thank you for joining us, Brian, and thank you for signing us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We're probably going to be doing this every, 2 weeks or so? So that'll be a thing, hopefully. If you guys would like, I got to figure out what is the best time for everyone, just in general, because I want to interact with you guys as much as possible. Anyways, so thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Fridays, and I will see you when I see you.